What's up, everybody? It's Wilson XCI, and today we are in Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I managed to get my way into the LFM, which stands for Low Fuel Motorsport Community, and this is my first LFM race on the rookie servers. Not too experienced in sim racing, but hopefully well on my way to putting up some solid lap times and whatnot. But we are in the qualifying session of my first race right now, and kind of just getting out onto the track and hopefully put in some good times. But yeah, for any of those who are trying to get into LFM and those who are struggling to pass the license test, and what that is basically 7 laps that you have to beat at 105% of what the record lap time is in the LFM community. So this week it was on Brands Hatch. I think it was like a 126.9 is what you had to reach. And you know, I took some time to practice because I am, you know, I'm not really the fastest driver. But with a little bit of practice and, you know, some setup stuff that you can do, you can be well on your way. What I recommend really is just going on a hot stint on Brands Hatch in a car that you're comfortable with, and really kind of just putting lap in, watching some track guides, all that jazz, and then understanding how to set your car up at least to the minimum amount. You want to do essentially the aggressive setup, then you want to watch where your tires are and get anywhere from 27.3 to 27.8 on your tire pressure, at least in conditions such as the ones you see right now. But yeah, lower your fuel. You know, have enough for that stint. Get those tire pressures right. Save that setup. And then, you know, do your best. You have as many tries as you want. And as we come around the last turn here, we're going to get onto our first lap of the qualifying session. And for anybody who's experienced in sim racing, you'll know that there's definitely a lot of ways that I can improve in sim racing. But, you know, finally getting the hang of it as I come down here in the first turn, and I feel like I attacked that curb okay. Went a little wide there, but just going to kind of hug this inside turn here. And I kind of follow a lot of what I saw in Gran Turismo when you see that second orange mark on the outside of the wall to the left. That's kind of when I know that it's time to start accelerating. You know, one of the things that, you know, I really need to work on is trail braking and pretty much throttle and brake control. It's not the smoothest, but it's all a part of getting used to the equipment that you have. And I think this turn right here, honestly, is, I think, one of the hardest turns, I think, on this track, because it's so high speed, and you know, the difference between getting it right and just so-so is really a lot of time. And I think it's just one of those turns that are really tricky for newer drivers such as myself. And you'll see that in the race coming up, that I don't always take that turn the best. But we're coming around here. I think we're doing okay, at least for my abilities. I think I could probably use the outside curb a little bit more there, but this turn right there is a little tricky sometimes because there's not really a good solid braking point or anything on the track to kind of identify for that. But I just barely stay in bounds coming out of that chicane there. And I come up to the line, and what time are we going to get? Going to get into the 146s. Fairly happy with that for right now. But we go back into the setup here, and you know, we're going to get the fuel load even lighter. I kind of have it set to the amount I would probably run during the race. But we're going to go back out on the track here, and we're going to try to beat that time. We'll just fast forward that a little bit here. So we're back out. We're going to run our lap. As you can see, the time is pretty much up for this qualifying session, so this is my do or die time to get a better time. So I attacked that curb a little bit too aggressively, kind of lose the stability of the car, and it looks like I'm still up a little bit, and I think that's just being able to carry a little more speed through there despite kind of screwing that up a little bit, but we're up a little bit. And this is one of those turns that I'd really like to master more too as well. I think there's just that lack of trail braking control that I have, and I think that, you know, just gonna have to get out there and race more to get that proper amount of time there. But coming up, almost coming off the curb there, managed to stay in line, you know, use most of the space on the track, and I'd love to hug that curb a little bit more, but not too bad. So kind of, you know, get a little goofy there on that turn. I think didn't just really carry the speed as much as I could have through that turn. But we're still got a chance to try and maybe capitalize on some time, specifically through the chicane coming up. But run a little wide there and definitely lose time. Go a little deep into that turn. But hopefully we can take the chicane okay. Doing okay, but running a little too wide. And unfortunately, we invalidate our time. And that's going to be the stint there.
Session is now over.
So here we are at the start of the race, getting ready to go. Yeah, if you're noticing this, there's not a lot of racers in this lobby. This was a lobby that I joined after work, and I think it was the 6:15 or 7:15, but once you kind of reach that time, central time I'm at, the lobbies kind of start to shrink. And I don't know, maybe this is the right type of lobby for me for my first race. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So you'll see me on the brakes a lot with the power, and heating up those brakes kind of helps me heat up the tires. Obviously didn't really do that much there, but it does help. I think a little more than kind of swerving back and forth. Off and away. We got an okay start. I don't think anyone's really catching up to us behind. Could have been better, but we're going to try to squeak in there, and he kind of closed a little bit, so, you know, the first thing we want to do is just make it through the first couple of turns. We want to get there to the end, not screw a race up at the very start there. McLaren gets a run on us behind, but takes that turn too deep, goes in a little too fast, and he goes wide, so he's now lost a spot to, I think, the Lamborghini behind me. But so far, so good. Yeah, it's a weird thing that it's only a video game, but you still kind of get nerves when you race, especially when you're new and you're kind of in lobbies with people who are more your skill level, and to be honest, a lot of folks that are well past it. But we're gonna take this tricky turn here, one that I struggle with, and didn't carry the most speed, but you know, we came through there pretty clean, and we're staying up close with the group ahead. Take the hairpin okay, and we're going to try to maybe get a look in the inside, but he carries his speed on the outside pretty well. And I go... Yeah. I just kind of lost it there, and I think for some of the newer drivers, it can be a little tricky there. I wouldn't say that it's the hardest turn, but just the way that the surface, the level of the track surface changes there, can be a little bit tricky if you apply power incorrectly. And so unfortunately I spun and lost that lead group, and McLaren got ahead from that, and he kind of goofed himself up there a little bit as well. He's kind of been all over on the first lap, probably feeling all the same nerves that I'm feeling. But we managed to get by him in the chicane safely. A little bit close for comfort there. Not always a great place that you really want to avoid, try to pass someone on, especially when they're in a little bit of trouble. But you know, race isn't over yet. We haven't lost too much time. I think there are positions to make up. I can't say for the leader, you know, usually You know, the leader's running some lap times. I think that I'm just not quite there yet on a consistency basis. But we can definitely catch that Porsche, and I think we've got enough time to catch the car ahead. Just, you know, if the other team drivers up front don't make any mistakes. Run almost a little wide there. Hug that curve on here. And I think we carry okay speed there. We come down to the hairpin. Definitely get a little bit better of a run than the Porsche here. Being extra careful there. No, we see the Lamborghini go off. He made the exact same mistake that I had. And kind of get a free pass back from my last mistake. But Porsche goes in deep, so we're going to clean this up here. Going to go right back into the chicane. And just get slammed into the side. And at first I'm wondering, was he there the whole time? Did I just turn in on this guy? I kind of was wondering if I had made a pretty bad mistake, but we're going to take another look at this from an overhead view. So we get past the Lambo, and as you can see, the Porsche goes in deep, but for some reason, he just makes a pretty brutal re-entry of the track. It's hard to say what happened there, what he was thinking. I don't know if it's just like he wrecked and he just kind of panicked and tried to get back on the track, or if there was some kind of desperation to hold his spot. But we're going to get a view from his end. And he just kind of... I don't really know. But this one's going to effectively take us out of any chance of catching the group up front. But at least from my perspective there, you know, when you wreck there, don't re-enter the track right there. I think it'd be best if he just skips the first turn in that chicane and just safely enters. I don't know what he was trying to do, if he was trying to save his spot there or not. But definitely frustrating. I think a completely unnecessary move. I think once you're off the track, you just have to, you really honestly need to respect the lines of the drivers who are on the track. And, you know, it is a rookie lobby, so, you know, you have to give the benefit of the doubt that it's just an honest mistake. Maybe just wasn't thinking or panicking or something like that. But just, yeah, a really frustrating way to start my first race in LFM. So we come down here to the hairpin, and hopefully to, you know, catch the Lamborghini who regained his position on me after the wreck. And as you'll see, as the race goes by, we're definitely going to get some time on him. But the difficulty of this track, you know, it's a fine racing track. There's, you know, I think it's a well-balanced track, except for the fact that it can be very difficult to pass. So one of the main concerns about this race after that wreck was, is the aero going to be affected enough to where I'm not going to be able to catch this guy? But as you can see across the line here, you're going to look at the seconds that I'm trailing, and it definitely closed by quite a considerable amount. So if I keep the pace up, if my pace truly is better than him and he didn't mess up on that last lap, we're going to catch him and hopefully give him a run and hopefully take 4th place. Was hoping that I'd be in position at the end of the race to at least fight for a podium spot. But it's just not the way that it works out. It's just the way racing goes. You know, sometimes you get taken out and it's just a racing incident, and sometimes you get taken out by moves that are very questionable. But as I said, it's just kind of the way things go sometimes. As we kind of continue in the lap, you can tell that we're kind of creeping closer and closer. I think specifically in Sector 1, it's been kind of the area that I really catch him. So we're gonna have to try to find a way to make time on the other ends. See if we can put something together here, but it's gonna be difficult catching him. If I don't have as good a straight line because maybe the arrow is affected from the crash, there may not be a good opportunity to make a pass on this track. It's pretty well known that the straight into turn 1 of Barcelona is one of the best spots to overtake on. And if you struggle to do that there, there's not a lot of other chances to pass the driver unless they make a mistake. But looks like I get a circuit limits warning here. So something that I'll have to pay attention to. 3 would equal a penalty. So right here on this turn, tend to just make much better use of that. And it seems as the race goes by that this is the point where I always get close to him. And I think I kind of lose it a little bit in maybe sector 3. But we're just going to run with the overhead camera for a little bit, change it up. So, you know, at this point my eyes are on 4th place. You know, clearly I don't think the pace behind me is really threatening my spot. It's really just me being a competent driver and getting my car home past the finish line. And hopefully get by this Lamborghini. So I think coming into the chicane over here, I think this is kind of where he gains a lot of time. Something that I'll surely have to practice. Actually, got a little mixed up here. I'm on the hairpin here. Ran a little wide again, and I think I got a track warning here as well. So the real big concern at this point is not getting that 3rd track penalty. That could end up spoiling my race completely, taking me out not only out of the spot that I'm in, but depending on how far back the guys are behind me. This really could make it all in all a just completely miserable race. There's still a chance to finish middle of the pack here, which I think is okay for first race in LFM. Back in the outboard camera, we're going to see right here in the turn 1, see how much time I actually can gain on him. So braking a lot later, and I think I got a little worried about hitting him there, so kind of took that turn a little bit deep rather than hugging the curb. But he kind of goes wide there. You know, I'm definitely hugging the curb more than him, but I think that this long turn here is just a little bit more forgiving. There's no one line I think that's better than particularly than the other. But as time goes on, you know, I'm battling this guy, and I know that I'm the quicker driver, given the fact that I caught up to him fairly quickly. But one thing's to be faster, the other thing is to be, you know, to overtake another driver, especially on a difficult track like this. So really going to have to make something happen here. Whether that's making a better... He goes a little bit wide there, but luckily carries his speed halfway decent, and so he's going to go defensive into the hairpin here and just block that off. I don't think I was really there to take it anyways, but you never know in some of these rookie lobbies. As we know in sim racing, there's always the guy who egregiously lunges. I'm not that guy, but he doesn't know that. So he goes pretty wide. I think I kind of lose traction there just a little bit. But we get through the chicane at a pretty even pace. I think I get a decent exit stay on him, but as you see coming down this straight, even with the slipstream behind me, I just don't really seem to have the straight line to get to him. And so without that straight line into kind of this high overtaking area, it's just going to be so difficult for me to get there. But I take the S pretty well, get a really good run on him here, so let's see what we can do coming up into this next turn. Really got a better run. And he's going to go defensive on the inside. And I think right here, I try to go on the outside, try to carry some speed, but just not quite enough. I kind of went a little too deep halfway through there. And he's going to keep his spot here and get a comfortable distance. in front of me as we go into the next turn there. So took that deep there, lost a little more time, and you know, just gonna unfortunately have to kind of do a couple sectors better to get back to where I was. I know my pace is still better than his, so I know I can get back there and kind of try to take this position away again. But again, I know that it's just going to be so tough because I can't get that straight line speed past him. So, coming out of the chicane here, gonna get a decent run out of there, but you know, really no closer than I was the last straight. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna get him here. But we still have that S coming up, and it's always an opportunity to maybe overtake. You just see how much time we gain here, and we're gonna be right back in the fight here. So he kind of goes a little bit deep. I get a decent run out of here. And got on the inside. And I decide to try to go on the outside. And I think this was maybe my biggest mistake all race. I think I had an opportunity to kind of get in there on the inside of that turn and take that. And instead I decided, well, I guess in the track, I kind of expected him to move over maybe to defend, and that's where I kind of switched sides to try to get the better line going into the turn and hopefully kind of throw him off there. And I think just overthinking it really and giving up a potential area to pass. So that is definitely one opportunity that I'm going to be kicking myself over. And unfortunately, that was really my best opportunity to pass this whole race for him. And, yeah, you know, just thinking too much and trying to play the mind games rather than just simply pass him when really there was an opening. There was a gap there. So another track limit warning there. That actually was my second. I did not get a second one coming out of the hairpin last time. So one more and could really hurt my race. But unfortunately, guys, just didn't quite get there with him. Hopefully I learned my lesson, so the next time when the space is there, I go for it. I don't think it would have been an egregious lunge at all, but that's the race. We finish in P5. And yeah, unfortunately not the way that I wanted the race to go, but that's racing, and when you're a rookie racer like myself, there's a lot of things to learn. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I plan to upload more of ACC footage and hopefully maybe a video of my setup that I got going on, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.